so on.
All right, and we want to bring you some breaking news now. We have word that the new supreme leader has been announced, and that will be Moshtaba Khamenei. That is the supreme leader's son. Joining us now to talk more about this is Ali Hashim, who has extensively covered Iran and has been following this leadership selection process very closely. Ali, what can you tell us about what we can expect now that the supreme leader has been named?
Well, now, first of all, that Moshtaba Khamenei has been announced officially as Iran's third supreme leader. This is the end of a chapter and the beginning of a new chapter at the time of war. So Moshtaba Khamenei is now supposed to lead the country in the time of war. Of course, this election would have a lot of controversy, given the fact that he is succeeding his father. There are going to be accusations of family succession. You know, the Islamic Revolution came in 1979 to end the monarchy. So this is going to be one of the issues that he will face as an accusation. Yet he will have to lead the country at a very difficult time. There are security threats to him. The United States, Israel, both are threatening to kill him, just like they did with his father. So there is going to be a lot of challenges facing him, first of all, to lead the country in the time of war, and at the same time to make sure to bring together the Iranians at the time when they are already divided. You know, just a few weeks ago, there were protests in the country. So it's going to be a really very heavy challenge for him.
Do we know much about who he is? I mean, we obviously know who his father is, we know who his family is, but do we know much about him, what he stands for, and what he could stand for going forward, given that we are in extraordinary circumstances here? Well,
Moshtaba Khamenei comes from the school of theology that is known to be, I mean, it's described as a hardline school. He adopts the positions of his father with respect to the United States, with respect to Israel. So we are expecting a confrontational leader. We're not expecting any moderation. We're not expecting any negotiation-seeking leader. However, if this war comes to an end and he is still alive and he is able to continue running the country, there is going to be a big potential seeing him there at this position to find new routes for Iran. This is one. On the second side, he is, of course, a cleric that's been teaching the highest levels of religious studies. And at the same time, he is well connected within the country. He's been described as a shadow influencer in the country. And over here, I'm talking about political influence.
Right.
So he has very good connections with the IRGC, very good connections with the security body of the country.
So these other branches of the country will know who they're about to be dealing with?
They know him very well because he used to be his father's gatekeeper. And any coordination with other power bases or centers in the country used to be through him. So he knows very well the country. He knows very well how things are run in the country. And given the fact his connections with IRGC and the security body, this could give him a lot of leverage. Also, he has his own he's part of the deep state. So he used to influence political changes in the country, and he's well aware of what's going on around him. So given the fact he is coming to succeed from the position of someone who knew how the situation is, he is a continuation of his father's reign for 37 years. We'll see another Khamenei coming to power. However, we're seeing a younger Khamenei, probably with also some new ideas. He's not a copy of his father, but
the influence may be there still.
We've never heard him talking.
Right.
We've never seen him except in some very rare pictures. So we are yet to hear from him, and we are yet to see how he is going to deal with the new status quo. I mean, his country is in the middle of war. How is he going to deal in the situation of war? How is he going to emerge from this war, these are all going to kind of define his own leadership.
And given that we haven't seen him speak publicly, that we don't know much about maybe which track he is going to take, for people who may have been thinking that potentially a new supreme leader could be a route to diplomacy, a route to opening those diplomatic channels, in your estimation, is that likely to be the case?
Well, for now, no. This is a confrontational leader. He comes on, I mean, his father's blood was just shed a few days ago, 10 days ago. So he holds this legacy, he carries this legacy, the legacy of his father's blood. So he's the son of the martyr in the eyes of the revolution. And this is part of the legacy, or let me say legitimacy, that he is, or his team is trying to present him within. So he's the son of the martyr who came to take the revenge for the martyr. This is the revolutionary Iran's point, perspective. Now, how is he going to be received by others? Because inside Iran, of course, there's going to be a pushback. There's going to be those who are going to criticize this selection or this election, because some of them will believe, especially within the other parties under the Islamic Republic, they're going to see this as changing the pillars of the Republic and changing the pillars of the revolution that came in 1979.
So there's many things to watch. I want to bring Mohammed Val back in from Tehran for us, because, Mohammed, one of the things that we've been talking about is how Israel has been saying that they will be looking out for who is named the next supreme leader, that person is in danger, that person is in their sights, and so are the people who elected this new supreme leader. I wonder, how do you think they're going to be able to secure him, or what kind of danger he'll be under as of right now that his name's been announced?
Right, that's a very big question here in Iran, and also the election of Mujtaba Khamenei is clearly an act of defiance on the part of the Iranian leadership here, because he's the man President Trump mentioned in name, saying that he's a lightweight, and he's in the position now that Israel has threatened to kill him anyways. So, I mean, it's really a precarious situation for the new supreme leader, and probably the delay in announcing his name has to do with preparations to make sure that he's safe. We don't know how that is going to be done, but we know that the Israelis just 2 nights ago sent 50 aircraft and dropped 100 bombs, according to what they said, on a location that was, they said a bunker that was to be used by the late Khamenei, but he didn't have time to go into it, and that they had information that probably some of the leaders were hiding in that bunker the night the raid took place. So the Israelis are really, serious in their threats. The Americans also are going to be unhappy, according to what we heard from President Trump. Here, the message by the Iranians is that this is an act, or decision that is an act of defiance. The Iranians are not listening to foreign recommendations or foreign control of their country. The country is independent. Iran selects its own leaders according to its own constitution. And also on the part of the new supreme leader himself, it's an act of potential sacrifice. He knows the probable consequences of his election, and he has chosen to go ahead and assume this role. We understand that as per the Iranian political traditions and constitution, the supreme leader in waiting does not present his own candidacy for that. He does not suggest himself. So he must have been chosen by others, but he also has to consent to that. And that is the situation now. The new supreme leader has been announced. It's an act of defiance. He knows the consequences, and the country is bracing for probable assassination also, but the Iranians are defiant.
And Ali, Mohammed makes a very good point that, number one, there's no evidence that the American president had any hand in making this selection, as he wanted to do. And two, obviously, Khamenei will know now that there is a big target on his back. But I wonder how you think people in Iran, on the streets of Tehran, will react when they hear this news.
Well, they're already hearing now. So As I told you, there is going to be a lot of controversy when it comes to this election. There are those who are going to embrace it, given the fact that Mujtaba Khamenei is now positioned as the son of the martyr and also the father of a martyr, because his daughter was killed in the attack, his wife was killed in the attack, his sister was killed in the attack, his mother was killed in the attack, and his father also. So he comes from this family. This is easier for the system in Iran to push forward Khamenei's name, Mujtaba Khamenei's name, because he holds all this baggage with him. And given the fact this is an Islamic system, and mainly it's the Shia side of Islam that is built upon martyrdom, so this could help him a lot in proving himself at the time of war. Yet, politically, there is going to be a lot of pushback. This is going to probably have its own impact, not now, probably after the war, because now it's time of war. Everyone is caring more on how the country is going to continue. So the debate right now is going to be more at the moment of war on the continuity rather on what happened and how this is really hitting the pillars of the revolution.
And Mohammed, to you, Ali was talking about how the new supreme leader is going to be a wartime supreme leader, and he's coming out of this immediately in this system of war. But there will also be many domestic issues to contend to as well. So I wonder what are going to be the main things that he'll be dealing with within the country, not just from a period of war.
Well, the primary on that list could be national consensus over him. He's a sort of unknown figure, even though he's very well known, but he's unknown in terms of his personality because he doesn't speak a lot, he doesn't attend a lot of meetings and gatherings and so on, but he is known to be one of the hardliners, and he's known to be very close to the Revolutionary Guard and to the Basij. So, I mean, for some people, particularly the reformists, they may not be happy with his election. Because they think that we are back to the square one. We have been trying to change the country to what we like, to the better, closer to liberalism and so on. But now and this is understandable, because at a time of war you need strong leaders. You need leaders who will stick to the line of resistance, of defiance, and so on. And probably the Assembly of Experts have put that into consideration at this particular moment. The appointment of someone, for instance, like Hassan Rouhani, who is seen here as a very compromising leader, who some people even describe him as the Gorbachev of Iran, a person who is very likely to strike deals that might compromise the interests of Iran. Well, I'm just saying what is being circulated here. The selection of that person could be seen inside Iran and even outside Iran as an act of some kind of surrender to the will of the Americans and the Israelis at a time of war. So the Iranis don't like to be seen as showing weakness here. And the hardline approach that has led to the election of this new supreme leader is a result in the minds of many people here of what is going on, of the aggression against Iran, and Iran needs really to show toughness.
And Ali, your thoughts on that?
Well, there is something really ironical here. When Khamenei, the father, was elected at the time when the war was ending, the war between Iraq and Iran in 1989, it was like the beginning of the end. And now Khamenei, the son, is being elected in the middle of a war. So we're seeing two different paths. And this is going also to shape Mujtaba Khamenei's experience in his, this all depends on whether the Iranian security and military will be able to preserve his life, to keep him away from assassinations, to defend him. These are all challenges that the security and military system are going to face, besides what he's going to face. Also, from now on, there is going to be one man taking the decisions in this war. At least he is going to be directing. I mean, there's an institution that helps in taking the decision, but yet we will see his own approach and how this approach is going to be. Probably within the coming hours, we should be hearing from him. We should be hearing his manifesto. We should be hearing what he is promising the Iranian people, the region, and the world.
All right, Ali Hashem here with me and Mohammed Val in Tehran. Thank you both for your analysis on this breaking news. Now let's bring in some of our guests to discuss these latest developments. Mark Kimmett is a retired American general and a former assistant secretary for political military affairs. He's in Washington, D.C., and in Boston, we have Rami Khouri, a distinguished fellow at the American University of Beirut. Thank you both for being with us. General Kimmett, I will go to you first. How does the election of the new supreme leader change the strategy of the U.S. and Israel in this, if at all?
Candidly, I don't think it changes anything except for the aggressive talk by Benjamin Netanyahu that he is going to end the theocracy inside the country, and anybody they pick as a supreme leader will be eliminated. But in many ways, this adds a little stability to the situation. And if you're like me, where I believe this war will end at the negotiating table, this is a movement towards stability.
Rami, I want to bring you in on this because I'd like to get your thoughts as well. Just right off the top on this breaking news of Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of the former supreme leader, being named. What are your initial thoughts when you hear that name?
Well, Riley, I think this kind of confirms what General Kimmett said, and this is a continuation of what Iran has had since 1979. This is the Wilayat al-Faqih, the ruling system, with clerical rule under a supreme leader, with the addition of the IGRC, the Republican Guard, the National Republican Guards, the Revolutionary Guards. And these are institutions that are very well established, and the guards are the most important institution in the whole country, probably, with the clerics. But they control business, they control guns, they control management of the system in many ways, and they're massive, and they control hundreds of thousands of people that they can bring to the streets. So I think this is a sign of continuity. Whether it ends up pushing for a negotiated resolution of ending the war, what will happen after that will be seen, because it'll be totally different circumstances. How much the Iranian people suffer, how much people keep threatening it. So these are unknown factors. But for the moment, I think this is this is kind of an act of defiance as well, telling the Americans and the Israelis, you wanted to get rid of our system? Well, you know, in your face, here's a more radical person than the guy who was his father who was assassinated. And so this is a sign of continuity, and we'll see what that brings.
And General Kimmett, this supreme leader is coming in at a time when we're seeing attacks escalating to different civilian targets, things like oil depots, oil storage facilities. How is this advancing the escalation of the war?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't consider infrastructure targets to be civilian targets. They're part of the economy. They're not civilians. But again, I think if you look at it from the Israeli side... But sorry,
just to ask you on that, so what is a civilian target then? Is it just civilians?
Primarily, yes. You know, civilian military facilities, just generally human beings, as opposed to structures. Now, going back to your question about Mojtaba, I think there's going to be a dispute inside the Israeli-U.S. discussions about how do we react to this. Again, as somebody who thinks that negotiations, tough negotiations, negotiations that the Iranians have to come into, already providing concessions, this can't happen unless you have a supreme leader make those decisions. And with the stability that a new supreme leader brings, no matter how much you don't like him, at least we might be able to move the process forward.
Do you think that that's likely to happen?
Well, again, Rami knows this much better than I do, but the sensing is that he is closer to the hardliners than the clerics. The clerics did not want a dynasty and are against a dynastic control of the supreme leader's position. But given his hardliner positions, this sort of complements, for example, the bringing back of Vahidi, who founded the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps, dusted him off and put him back in to head the IRGC when his predecessor was disposed of. So I don't think you can make any declarative, definitive statements right now. I think we're going to have to wait a few days.